Well, this right here is a Commodore 64 Mini. I have no nostalgia for this system. However, growing up, this was like the end-all be-all. There was the console gamers, there was the computer gamers. The computer gamers had this. The console gamers had everything I had. I never had one of these growing up. So I don't know anything about most of the games that are on this thing. I am very, very curious to check it out, though. So I'm going to show you the unboxing. I know it's out of the box already, but I'm going to show you the unboxing, and I'm going to cover some great games that are on this system, games that I thought were pretty fun anyway, and well, we'll go from there.
Your C64 Mini, 64 games included, the world's best-selling home computer, reborn! I've never had one of these, so I'm looking forward to cracking this open and see what it's all about. It's rated E for everyone. Plugs into your TV. It includes an HDMI cable. The AC adapter not included. This is an issue happening more and more that is not included. I'm going to assume that it's going to be either micro USB or probably USB-C. It'll have the cord, just not the little thing that plugs into the wall, which is fine because I have like 5 of them at home anyway. Let's get a little look at the other sides of the box here. We got the, there's that side. Here's the, well, it's kind of bright to see there, but there you go. From Retro Games Limited, I guess. Really emphasizing the HDMI. Designed in the United Kingdom, made in China. Read the enclosed document before use. Yeah, right. All right, let's have a look at the old back of the box here. Now, again, I never had one of these when I was growing up, so, but I recognize, like, I know Boulder Dash, they had that for the NES. Winter Games, of course. California Games, too. Impossible Mission 2 they had for the Atari. And they had it for the NES also. I did play Jumpman. I had a friend who had one, my good buddy Ben. After we had like an art project in elementary school called Company 7, I'd go to like his grandpa or his uncle's house afterwards till his parents picked him up, including myself. We'd always play Jumpman on the computer there. So let's open her up and have a look on the inside. So we have the tape there. Tape on both sides. I'll just worry about one side. Yeah, keep your blade clean at all times, huh? Yeah. Having trouble. There we go. And I know they always have it like so you open it one way, but you want to see it on this side here. Oh, let's look at this side really quickly here too. Save game function, 2 USB ports, HDMI, and more of the same. That's what's going to include there. There we go. Inside the box, we have another box. Imagine that. Oh, it's so cute. It's so cute and tiny. Has a joystick and everything. Look at this. All right, we have let's look at that part last. I want to look at this stuff here when we can. Now, here is the joystick that it comes with. This is your C64 joystick. Buttons, more buttons down here. Has a little bit of a groove set, so I can tell when it has these buttons over here too. Crazy. It feels like I can feel the diagonals, but not down or up as well as the diagonals. So it's like perfect for Qbert, I guess. Has these little satisfying things to peel off too. Nice. All right, standard USB, perfect. This is your charger, but not the AC plug-in, and it works off of, it is a micro. No problem. The same thing as your PlayStation 4 controller, same as your NES Classic and your Super Nintendo Classic. And then here's your HDMI, standard HDMI. Now let's have a look at this. How cute is this, all right? Close this up here for a second. Like that. All right. It's nothing. It's just for looks. Can actually push those. The F buttons, the function buttons, can't push them either. pretty lightweight, but it feels it's as heavy as I thought it would be. How about that? Okay. Then on one side you have the 2 USBs, and then I'm guessing that's power. And then on the back, all you have is just your spot for your HDMI. Like the classic editions, HDMI upside down. I don't know if they're supposed to be the right side up or upside down, but whenever I see that, it's like, it's upside down to me. And then your power there. Interesting. You can plug in your joystick into this one, and you can also plug in your keyboard into this one as well. This one does have that keyboard functionality. Along with that, let's have a look inside here, see what else they included. Just because we can, since we're already here. Here's the Retro Reborn, the first retro game subscription service. Why do I keep going out of focus here? Interesting. Use promo code 64 Mini when you sign up. Zool. I see Xenophobe, I see Burger Time. Interesting. The world's first subscription retro game subscription service. Then here's your quick guide. What it is, where they go. The different functionalities of your buttons. Alright. Well, here's what it looks like, and I've never played one of these. I'm excited to plug it in and go to town. Let's see what we can find on the C64 Mini.
Now again, I didn't grow up with the Commodore 64, so I'm not familiar with most of these games, but I wanted to show off a few of them anyway. After you choose your language, you go straight into the games, and I'll show off Avenger here. This is the loading time, and that's about as long as it takes for any of the games to load up. There are 64 games on this device. I want to show off a few of them here. Not all of them, but a few of them anyway. And this game played pretty fun. This is kind of like my kind of game that I like to play on a retro system kind of like this. I'm not as familiar, again, with a lot of these games, but most of them were easy just to pick up and figure out very quickly. Now, there's a couple of Sims on here. There's a couple of sports games on here. I kind of passed up on those. There's like the old school RPG style, but Avenger seemed pretty cool. They even have BASIC on here. Interesting enough, you can there is a virtual keyboard in the system, so you can type it out that way. You can also plug in a USB keyboard. From what I understand, I did not actually test this, but from what I understand, you can actually plug in a keyboard, make it easy for you. Battle Valley reminded me of Choplifter, and I loved Choplifter. So I played this game for a little while anyway. I'm getting taking some major damage here on this game. I'm also not as familiar with the momentum and speed on a lot of these games. A lot of these Commodore 64 games go really fast, and before you know it, you're already game over here. I was looking for some people to pick up. Cool to see like Boulder Dash too. There's some like NES ports, like games that I recognize because they're on the Nintendo system. And there's a few of them. Boulder Dash was one of them. I loved Boulder Dash. There was like Cybernoid. There was a Street Ball. There's a Castilian was on here. There was a few of them. But happy to see Boulder Dash. Boulder Dash was one of my favorite puzzle games for the system. Breakdance, I was not expecting to see. I didn't know there was a breakdancing video game. However, this game, I'll be honest with you, may be my favorite game on this entire device. A couple of different modes. This one is the, whatever they do, match that. As you can see. And then there's also this one, which took me a little bit to figure out, but you have to dance in front of them and then match their moves, and then that makes them disappear. Isn't that crazy? This game, Breakdance for the Commodore 64, may be the first rhythm game ever made. I'm not sure. I'll have to do some research on that, but it's certainly the earliest rhythm game I can think of. There might be something. Nah, I fell in the water. Might be something there. You got games like California games. It's California games. There's also winter games. There's summer games. Stuff like that too. Super classic. Cosmic Cruiseway. Holy moly! Look at the scaling, or what would you call that? Scaling, I guess. It's phenomenal for a Commodore 64. Isn't that great? It's like kind of like 3D World Runner, of course, what it reminds me of, like a Space Harrier or something like that. But you can really cruise on this game, hence the name, I suppose. This is one I would play a little bit more. Oh, hey, get back. Oh, there we go. Cosmic Cruiseway, huh? Interesting. All right, Cyberdying Warrior. There's a couple of games that are like this too. Just action platformer, run and gun platformer style. Again, I'm not as familiar. You can just jump right in the fire, I guess. Apparently, I noticed that with a lot of these games. You don't really have, like, hit points. You just have, like... I mean, it's still hit points, but it slowly depletes. It's not like, you know, one-hit kill or anything. Deflector was kind of fun, too. I like puzzle games like this. You have to, you know, aim the laser in the right direction to destroy the stuff. Looking forward to playing more of that. There's a game called Everyone's a Wally. I'm not exactly sure if that's in reference to something. I mean, it almost looks like a Spectrum ZX game, or ZX if you're from the pond here. And it just it was fun to see. What about Hysteria? Another cool looking kind of run and gun game, kind of Rambo looking. Pretty cool. I had some fun with this one. I mean, it's just this to me looks like the kind of game that would be on a Commodore 64. And that's not, you know, in reference to anything or anything like that. We even had a Impossible Mission. The game's best dying scream is Impossible Mission. Impossible Mission 2 is on here too. IO, what starts as a casual shooter, turns chaotic almost immediately. Jumpman, one of the most influential platformers of all time, in my opinion. This was one game I was familiar with. I had a friend of mine, Ben. We would go to his uncle's house afterwards and play this game until our parents came by to pick us up. And this is I mean, of course with the ladders you think Donkey Kong, but it's really just, you know, you pick up the little circle things. I'm not sure what they're supposed to be, and that's what makes you advance to the level. Tons of levels in this one. There's Jumpman and Jumpman Jr. on this, so if you're fans of both of those games, you get both, along with 62 other games. Mega Apocalypse, I thought this game looked cool. This game, I mean, just like the how the stars are like rotating and stuff like that. Just with how everything looks, I thought this, you know, for a Commodore game, is great. Pitstop II, you got a 2-player racing game here. I thought it was kind of cool too, because you both get your own screen, and then where you are on the, you know, screen is where they are, and this is where the computer opponent takes me over, and then I lose him completely the entire rest of the round. But Pitstop 2, there's a couple of racing games. There's also like a bike, like a motorcycle racing game that's on here too. Pretty neat. You have Robin of the Wood. Robin of the Wood. I wonder what this is supposed to portray. There's a few games that were kind of like this too. There's this one. There's also like is that with the word fire in it? Like Fire Master or something like that. Skate Crazy. Got to have another skating game on here. Or this is roller skating. Whenever I think of skate, I always think of skateboarding. But, you know, roller skating. I guess you could rollerblading. Ouch. Another game I'm not really familiar with, and the control stick, well, I guess they call it a joystick, don't they? They've called them joysticks longer than anything else. The joystick, it works pretty well, but I'm not used to it, so I'll blame myself for that one. Spindizzy I thought was an interesting type, because you play as a spinning top here, but you have the momentum that carries you. Think kind of like if Kirby's Dream Course, but you controlled Kirby individually. So if you start to rotate a little bit off the hill, then you have to, you know, over-accommodate to straighten yourself out and stuff like that. It's hard to control with the joystick, too. This is one of those games, it's kind of like a Marble Madness, where you probably could work better if you had a trackball. Well, we got your Commodore 64 Mini, and is it worth it? Well, to me, I do not have any nostalgic factor for the Commodore 64, outside of the game Jumpman that my friend and I played a little bit when I was growing up. The thing with these plug-and-play systems is they're not making them for collectors, they're making them for the casual gamer. I think back to my friend Dave, who has an NES Classic. He knows he can hack it, he's not going to, because he grew up with it. He's not a huge gamer, but he remembers a couple of the classics, so it's perfect for him. For me, I have, outside of Jumpman, like I said, not a whole lot of nostalgia for something like this. And since they make these for the casual gamer, they make any plug-and-play system for the casual gamer, not the collector, not the hardcore gamer. It's fun to have. It's cute. It looks like a little keyboard. So that's fine. But like, if you're like me, you did not grow up with a Commodore 64, you're a console gamer, I was never a computer gamer. So for me, something like this, I probably would have passed. However, if you grew up with the Commodore 64, it's right up your alley, and you're just like, man, I wouldn't mind playing a couple of those games all over again. It's perfect. And especially with the basic on here, you can make your own games. So yeah, it comes with 64 games, but I mean, it's probably limitless, right? If you can program your own games, so I think it's okay. For me personally, again, no nostalgia. Cool to have one. There's a couple of great games on here, but aside from that, it's, you know, it's up to you, really, when it comes down to it. To the end of the day, it's up to you. So let me know what you think in the comments. What are some other great Commodore 64 games that maybe they should have included on something like this? Let me know. Make sure you subscribe. More videos are always on the way. Thank you for watching.